So, bro, what's going on? Hope you're all right.
Yeah, how's it going, bro? Thanks for having me on the show, man. I really appreciate this time that you're giving us in the platform.
Thank you for having faith on me.
It's
As
all good,
my,
man.
my first guest.
It's a privilege, man. We all start somewhere, man.
One of the things you told me was that parents get different rights to the mothers. Now, that I found that quite shocking, and I had to actually go and do some research because I couldn't believe the fact that if you're not married, you get completely different rights to the mother.
Yeah, so you got the same responsibilities. I mean, thankfully, in my case, I was married and I am registered, and everything is half
Okay.
and half. However, even then, though, I've still noticed the way you get treated as a dad is a bit different.
I had no idea, and I actually read it today that if you're not married, you don't get the same rights. Like you said, luckily for you, obviously you were married and you get the same rights and you get the same, the decisions get put 50-50. But if you're not married, the mother gets to decide all of, a lot of the things.
there's
That's messed up.
There's a lot of things, man. I mean, I noticed that even on the day that the baby's born, man, in hospital,
Hmm.
they don't put the dad's surname down enough. They put the mom's surname.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I can assume there's a reason, right? I can assume there's a
Hmm.
reason. I mean, let's just say I'm not around. At the end of the day, it's the mom that's giving birth.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, but um, even from that moment, it's like you start to see things, you start to realize things. It's like, okay. And again, I don't I'm not looking at it from a point of law or understanding. I'm still in the process of learning things myself, and as everything, I'm sure there's a reason for it. But
Hmm.
there is certain things, I mean, that you feel like almost. I wish I started a campaign, like, because I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels this way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I generally feel like I wonder if there's enough of us to actually stand. Like the petitions they do
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
online. I've generally thought of doing a petition for certain things. I mean, everything has to be put into perspective, obviously.
Yeah.
And like I said, that I'm sure the laws are there for a reason, but there is some things that I would like to see a bit more leniency. And in many ways, I think it will give that empowerment to a dad. If you feel like you're being given the right tools, the
Hmm.
same tools that a mum gets, I'm sure as a dad that is, for example, my case is my only child, you're gonna step up. You know what I mean? You're gonna feel valued as well as a father, and it's gonna allow you to do your job because it's still a learn. You're still a learning curve.
Yeah.
Everything improvised, but you're gonna feel like you're backed by the system too.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
think yeah, I think that's quite a strong point because at the end of the day, when you have your first child, you're both on the same level. Just because the mother carried the child for 9 months does not mean she knows more than the dad. Once the child, I mean, she knows more in regards of, when it's inside her body, of course, because we can't feel that. But once the child is out of her body, we're on the same level. We're learning at the same time. So, for the system to then assume, oh no, actually, well, she carried it for 9 months, she knows exactly what she needs to do. I think that's a bit strong.
I'll share a little experience I had in my case with my baby's mom, which I think again I don't blame it on her. I think as it goes for what it's worth, we get along as well as possible, and I
Hmm.
think we're doing things as well. At least we think we're doing things as correctly as possible
Yeah.
for a little one. But one of the small things we did find was I separated quite recently. Like my baby was literally a newborn, and she was around 3 months, 4 months, and she didn't want to let me have her in the weekends to stay with me. She said, I'm fine for you to see it, but to see Melanie, but I don't see why you'll need to stay with her. She needs to be with her mum. So I said, without being disrespectful, but I said, you're not breastfeeding, which is the only thing I wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
provide for my daughter. Different,
Yeah. Yeah.
it just so happens to be she couldn't breastfeed
Okay.
because she had some type of infection, so we had to like use milk, powdered milk.
Yeah.
So I said, in that case, there's nothing I can't provide for my daughter that you can't, that you are providing.
Yeah.
You
There's
know?
nothing there stopping you
Me
being
from
able
doing
to
the
have
same
the,
job. I mean,
yeah,
you just
exactly.
as an experience, you also have that same love, and as I do.
Exactly.
Thankfully, she managed to see further ahead, and in the end, she did say, "Right, cool, have it for the weekend." So I started to be in my daughter weekends for quite early on. But can you see, like, already there was one small tension, like it was, she was not willing to just, here you go.
Yeah.
And I can understand that from a maternal perspective, but
I think it's quite important to understand that women get very protective once the child is born. And the reason why I say that is because Erica turned to a lioness, more like, literally I would say, oh, put the water a little bit colder, obviously not freezing cold, but just, it's too hot. And she'd be like, no, it needs to be perfectly right. And she would take it like very personal, like I was attacking, like I was trying to do Joel harm, but I wasn't. I was just, us men tend to see things a little bit more relaxed, less, I don't know, it's just different. So, you can't take that away from them, but then obviously having that happen to you where she's like, oh, she's straight away for, no, you can't have her on the weekends, she's too young. You have to tell her to stop and think why.
Well, just put it into perspective from what you just said, Ollie. You just said that you'd like the water to be a bit, more cold. She's like, no, but you're together to make that decision.
Yeah.
Now imagine it from my perspective, where I don't know how warm or how cold she's getting a bath, one in her house, and vice versa. So you can only imagine how much of a strain that puts, because if you already have them type of differences when you're together, do this, no, that's not the right way, do it this way. Imagine when you're not together.
I think that it goes to communication becomes the key of that co-parenting journey, because it's if you don't think actually we need to learn to communicate everything, absolutely everything, it's going to impact on Melanie, on your daughter. So I think that would obviously be one of the things, and the reason why I'm kind of like putting out like a tip or something, that's just because I want, as we go along with this conversation, I want people to obviously hear your story and hear your points of views and hear our conversation, but also kind of like start seeing, actually, that's a good point that they've put through. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the first things I think we got to do is try to eliminate this saying. I mean, in particular from our background, Latin Americans, where we say you can find a baby father in every corner. Almost as if to say, where it's, you can find a dad anywhere. That's all relevant. We need to stop. We need to stop that. Basically, we need to start eliminating that from the way we think, because it's a saying, but these sayings start to pass on from generation to generation, and there'll be the odd person that will believe it, and they just think, what, being a dad is irrelevant. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good place to start. To start eliminating these thoughts about there's some type of difference between a father and a mother.
I agree.
So that's a good place.
You mentioned something about, not here, but you mentioned to me when I was kind of asking you questions, something about equal rights to the information of your daughter. So explain a little bit what you mean by that.
Well, one of the things that I've come across, for example, is that if I want to pick up my daughter from nursery, it's almost like I'm a bad person. I have to go through asking mum if I can pick her up. She has to pass on the information to the nursery. The nursery gives her a code, and I have to give a code. Now, it's all well for security reasons. I understand that. That's perfectly fine. But they're assuming that me as a father, I'm going to do something, I don't know, take away, run away with her. But then this goes right from the beginning. What's to say that the baby's mom isn't going to do that?
Exactly.
What is the difference? What assures me that she's not going to run away tomorrow? So think about it. We got one passport. Who tends to hold the passport? Mom. Right. So where am I going to take my daughter? I mean, she could do it any day, any second. So it's almost seen by the law that that's fine. It's fine for a father to have to deal with that, but yet you get treated a certain way. At the beginning, I noticed a lot that no matter how present I was in the nursery, you know, I would go to pick her up with mum as well.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was always directed to mum. It's
Okay.
almost like the key workers just chose to speak to, you know, speak to mum, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm right here, you know, I'm her
Mm-hmm.
dad. Why don't you
Yeah.
speak to
Yeah.
me? You
Yeah.
know, if anything, I would like to know a bit more because I'm not with her that often.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so that was quite difficult to see. And to be more specific with the question you just asked now, which is something we touched base on before, was I'm not aware about my daughter if she has a GP appointment, if she's visited A&E, you know, for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason. God forbid, you know, she's not well, she goes to A&E. I don't get information saying, listen, your daughter has just gone to A&E.
Mm-hmm.
So as a responsible father, how am I meant to know whether my child is being looked after well or being neglected?
Yeah.
Because if the system is not willing to help me and provide me with information about my daughter's uh, well-being, how can I look out for it?
But when you say the system's not willing, is it because your the Melanie's mom doesn't want to provide you with information, or when you ask her, she's just like, oh, she doesn't say anything, or the
It can go both ways. I mean, again, I would say my relationship with her is pretty decent, but we
Mhm.
have different perspectives. What might not be significant to her might be to me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So what I'm saying is, with my experience, I can only imagine somebody that doesn't want their kids to know, or the baby's fathers to know. They
they can
won't.
get away with it.
They'll get away with it.
Yeah,
In
they
my
can get
case,
away
we
with it.
just saw it as insignificant. She had told me to come for one of her development appointments, you know, to check her development and in the GP. And one of the
Hmm.
questions was, has your daughter ever been to A&E? So she looked at me because I know there was one occasion where she did, and I was present.
Hmm.
Um, so then she asked again, like, has she gone more times? And then she looked at me again, and I'm like, all right, this is interesting. And she had to say yes, she's been one more time. I
And
was
you
never,
didn't know about it,
I was never aware my daughter had been to A&E again.
right?
You see what I mean? So this is a very uncomfortable situation for me now
Yeah,
because I'm thinking, hold up. So where was my
because
daughter in A&E? Why did you not tell me she was in
no,
A&E?
but then in that situation right there, it makes you look like the bad guy because you're not informed. But no
Um,
one stops to think, actually, wait, was this guy even told?
you
Was
know,
he provided with the information he wanted?
it's really odd, and it sounds almost at times I'm attacking I'm attacking baby moms, and it's
Yeah.
not like I haven't got enough praise for them. Trust me, I've got 2 days a weekend, or for fathers as well that are with the kids constantly as well. Big up, man! I'm with my kid as much as I can be, but I have like 2, 3 days, 5 days max in a
Yeah.
row, and
Yeah.
it drills you down to the floor, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I ain't got enough. I've got enough love and respect for baby moms that and dads that are doing things correctly. So it sounds like I'm
Hmm.
attacking, but what I am trying to do is just bring out to light for those fathers that are stepping up,
Yeah.
that are willing to step up and don't have the right backing.
Yeah.
That's the people I'm speaking for.
Yeah. And
Like I've told you, in my case, I'm relatively blessed.
yeah.
I'm so blessed, and I think I've told you. I told Mama Scott, I'm so blessed the access I have to my daughter.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've seen small things, and I can only imagine how other parents, other dads that don't have the same accessibility that I have can feel.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Yeah.
almost like I want to voice out for them fathers. I'm sure there's enough of them out there, but it's
I,
it's
I,
just it's a
I was
shame for fathers that do want to be genuine fathers.
yeah, yeah. I
It's
was
just
gonna say, it has to be a big percentage of fathers that want to, be there for the kids and go exactly through what you're describing, little fun, not finding out about appointments or not knowing what happened to their kids X day or whatever, little details that everyone else, if you're with your kids, you'll think, oh, that's minor, that's nothing. But when you're not with your kids and you're just having them like once or twice a week, those little details become very important to being connected to your child.
I just had an experience not long ago, Ollie Mac, where my baby's mentioned that she got perhaps pushed. She couldn't really explain it too well, from somebody. So I asked where from, the school, and she gave me a name. So obviously I rang her mum straight away and I said, listen, Like,
You were hunting this person down to get your payback.
listen, it's a weird one. It's a weird one because almost like you said about Erica being like a lion. I
Yeah.
get that when it comes to my daughter, man. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And equally for her baby's mum, man. I need to make sure she's cool, man. I need to make sure she's with a decent partner, that she's well as I can, and if I can help her, I'll help her.
Yeah.
So she seemed to say to me, she just brushed it off like, oh, that's weird. She's told me, but she never told me with an exact name and everything. And I'm like, okay, why didn't you tell me? She's like, I just found that to be insignificant. Kids will be kids. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no. You should have told me.
Yeah.
And then whenever I go and pick on my door, I'm going to ask, because they need to be looking out for this guy if he's doing something or not.
Yeah.
Now she said, oh, kids lie. And I said, that's very true. But something you need to understand is my daughter is always going to be credible
Yeah.
in my eyes. She will always be number one. Even if she's telling a lie, I prefer to believe my daughter. And then when I find out the truth, then I'll say, sorry, my bad. Yes, she was lying to whoever it needs to be done. But I'll always believe my daughter first.
Yeah. That's very good, man. Because you know, there's some parents that go by what the Melanie's mom said, that, you know, kids will be kids, and, you know, they lie. And some parents do actually say, oh, they lie, and they don't listen to what the kids have to say, and actually what the kids have been saying turns out to be this major thing where, you know, in loads of cases they've been molested, they've been bullied, you know, they've tried to commit suicide, and it's such a bigger picture than just kids will be kids or kids lie. So I do rate that, man. I do agree with you there, where you have to believe your kids until you prove them otherwise. Yeah.
And you know what, I'll be the first one to hold my hand and say, you know what, I'm sorry, but if you can't see that I'm willing to listen to my daughter first, I'm sorry. Maybe we're not on the same, you know, frequency. Maybe we can't see eye to eye. But I'll be the first to say, sorry, man. But I need to make sure, especially in my conditions, the way it is. You know, I don't live. I need to make sure that she knows I'm always gonna believe her and I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not great. Trust me, I've already thought way ahead, and I'm sure there'll be some disadvantages to that.
Yeah.
But that's
No,
just
of
the
course.
risk that I'm willing to take.
And I think all parents should be willing to take that risk, because you never know when, you know, kids do, you know, come up with all these little lies and so on, but you never know when they could be going through something major, and just by believing them, how much you're going to save them.
Yeah, man, for sure. So that's something definitely, man. We've got to a stage not long ago again where something similar happened. So that's something that it's an experience. Mom will be like, oh, but you do know she's lying. I said, that's fine. I know she's lying. I can tell for myself too. But there's certain things that don't lie, like her reaction to stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When she's alone with me, she speaks in a certain way. You can tell when she's lying or not on certain things. And if I do, for whatever reason, misread one of, you know, her signs and do believe something she's saying, even if it is a lie, like I said, I'll say sorry after. And it's something she's not got to grips with, baby's mom. She's like, well, it can lead to problems. And I said, well, if you can understand my point of view, you'll be fine.
So touching on lies and that kids will lie, obviously, because all kids would do it. It's not a crime. Yeah. We all know that kids will, you know, try to get away with whatever they can. How do you guys work around, you know, when you both know that Melanie's telling a lie, and let's say she's telling a lie about her to you, or you, when she tries to play you guys, because, you know, they get to that age where they know, actually, if I say this to daddy to get my way about mommy, he would do it. Or if I told this to mommy about daddy, she would do it. How do you guys deal with that?
It's sort of happened, to be honest with you. It's all sort of happened, not quite recently. I'm guessing once kids start to grow up a bit more and a bit more, other things start to arise. You know, you think everything is amazing. Look how well we're co-parenting, and then boom, out of the blue. And it has
just gets harder.
I can't lie to you, it has put a dent at the moment on that relationship of co-parenting. But that was, again, a risk that I was willing to take for my daughter. Right. And it was all what could possibly be a lie. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to find out fully. But I'm 100% going in with my daughter, you know. And if certain things don't make sense in my mind, then I'm sorry. I have to go with my daughter, and I do try and put things as logically as possible, and say, all right, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense. But all in all, for the most part, one of the big things that she did say was like, "Do you not trust me?" And I said, "The
Who
fact,
the
baby's mum."
baby's mom? Okay.
But my thing to her was, if 4 years of not giving you problems has not shown trust, then that's on you. I've never given you problems in 4 years. If something arises that I think is not right, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. You know what I mean? So I mean, you do have to have some type of trust with your partner. Well, you have to have trust with your partner, but then when your heart or your instincts or your gut tells you otherwise, you need to go with that as well.
Yeah.
Now, what we did, at least what I do on my side, unfortunately, you can never vouch for the other side of the parent.
Yeah.
You only count with yourself at the end of the day. When you can only hope that the other parent does the same thing, but you only count with yourself. And something I'm very I'm very strict about it is she needs to be clear and transparent, my daughter, with her mom and with me. Right.
Okay.
So, for example, giving sweets when you're with your dad, I don't see her that often. I tend to give her a bit more treats here and there. Right. Now, the first thing she'll be like, "Shh, don't tell mom, don't tell mom." I said, "No, that's not right. You tell your
Okay.
mom. If your mom wants to have an argument, let her pick the argument with me. At the end of the
Okay.
day, your kid is only doing what you're telling them to do or what you're teaching them. But
Exactly.
the problem is with me, right? So I've told her, don't. I said, tell your mom what you ate.
Yeah.
Tell her exactly what you had, and if she has a problem, then she can speak with me. Now
Okay.
that's the same type of energy that I want, vice versa.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want her mom to be able to say to Melanie, tell your dad.
Yeah.
This is what. No, because the thing is, from the moment you tell your parent, your kids to lie, you're teaching them.
Yeah.
No, you don't see it. Oh, you might think you're doing good. Oh, don't tell your mom, your dads, they might get angry. No. It
Yeah.
don't matter if they get, it don't matter about the consequences. They need to understand that you need to be clear, transparent to both parents. And there's no point in me teaching that to my daughter one way, but it's not happening or reciprocating.
Yeah.
It's not coming from that way to me.
Yeah.
And it all started one day when my daughter said, and I think she did say it as a joke. I think I'm still on the line deciding, but she said to me one day, Shh, it's a secret. And I said, what's a secret? I said, I can't tell you. It's between my mom. I said, so I started playing with her, trying to take things out. And she said, mom said, I can't tell you. So
Okay.
obviously that for me is ringing alarm bells now,
Yeah.
because I'm playing with my daughter. So that's why I'm testing waters. You have to play, you have to figure out if it is true what she's saying, if it's not. And straight away I called mom. I said, listen, this is what she said. I got a video of it. It just happens to be I got a video of it. What do you make of it? Oh, I've never told her to do that. I don't know what she's talking about. I said, well, this is what's happening. Can you please fix it?
Yeah.
Because you're very conscious of whenever I take my daughter to you, when I speak to her on the phone, you're very conscious of what I say, and I say it in front of you.
Yeah.
Don't lie to your mom. Tell your mom the truth. Be good with your mom. Love your mom. I'm never throwing any shade, any type of dirt. And I just expect the same thing back.
Yeah. I mean, that's the least that could happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So, well, you would hope, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's something serious, man, because even this is not just for co-parenting parents, but parents in general. Kids get to this age where they will start, Joel has come up to us and said, oh, mommy said I can have this to eat. And I said, oh, did she? And then I'll go ask her, and she'll be like, I didn't say that. Like, oh, no, I'm joking. And I'm like, no, Joe, that's not a joke. That's not funny. And what you say is true. You got to kind of tell them what's right and what's wrong from earlier on, because if you don't, then they just start thinking it's okay. It's okay to do it when they're older and when it gets more serious. But that's very interesting.
The way my baby mum sees it is that she already believes that my little one manipulates me. And don't get me wrong, she does. She does. I think most children manipulate us. There's limits to it, but I think and many times we're persuaded by what they say, because they do a face or because they act a certain way. And more often than not, we tend to give in. And I think it's a lot easier to do when you don't see your kid as often.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, of course.
one of the struggles she has is, oh, why is she not rude with you? And I'm like, I'm not saying it's down to your parenting. It's the
Mm-hmm.
fact she doesn't see me that often. So I tend to have something to do with her. You know, she gets to have the treats with me. I get to have, you know, little presents here and there when I can. We get to do activities. Because you got to remember, I'm trying to fit into 2 days, 3 days, what I haven't been able to do in a week.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I said, don't feel bad about your parenting. It's not because you're doing things wrong.
Yeah.
It's just very normal, you know, for my daughter to just have a lot more fun. So in your eyes, it just seems like she's manipulating me. It's not that. I don't see the need up to now. She's at the age where I haven't had to proper school Melanie, if you know what I mean. When she's with me,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, she tends to be relatively calm. I'm not saying she's a saint, because I know
Mm-hmm.
I know when I tell my age she's something else, man. Like that. Most kids are like that. I'm not one of deluded people that think the kids are perfect. Far from it. But it just so happens to be when she is with me, she tends to be really, really, really good. You know, she tends to listen. She gives, and I guess I just have a bit more patience. You know, I think when your child tests you, 24/7 throughout the whole week, your patience starts to thin out. You know what I mean?
100%, man.
In my case, my patience is just a lot bigger. It's like
I mean,
I still find certain things funny, for example, because
yeah,
I'm not used. She
exactly.
doesn't do that to me every week. So
Yeah.
like, it's like, oh, look at that one. That's a new one.
Exactly. Yeah, mom's fuse kind of starts getting very short after a while. So
and I understand them. Trust me, I really do understand that. I can really relate to that, because she's my little one's tested me on a few occasions, and it's like, but I can just see above it for now.
Yeah. Bro, so out of all the questions well, all the things we spoke behind the scenes, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
You mentioned something that actually was quite interesting, and is when you're raising a child and you're both, so you and the child's mom are both different religions,
Right,
and have different beliefs, and so on. And that's quite interesting, because I can actually relate to this like 100%. Because for those of you who listen to Mama's Code and don't know, I don't believe in God, so I'm an atheist. And Erica is Catholic, right? And it's tough. It's tough because you know, I have to respect her religion, right? I have to. My Joel goes to a Catholic school. It's actually a really good school, and you know, I had to put my beliefs to a side so he could get a good education, you know, and there was a lot of things that you know, when you go there, it's all about God and the whole, you know, Catholic religion really imposed into you. And when he comes home, he's like, oh, Dad, look, I've learned this new prayer. And when I put him to bed, sometimes he will tell me to pray with him, and I have to pray with him. And you know, sometimes I'm doing it and I feel a little bit of a help me out with the word.
Yeah. Hypocrite.
That's it. Because I feel like I don't believe this, but I'm just doing it because I would never ever in a million years sit there and tell Joe, my 6-year-old, God doesn't exist. You're wrong. You know, I would never do that. So I definitely
not be blunt, man. Come on, man. What's wrong?
I definitely would love to hear your point of view on this, because I could relate 100%. I think this is one of the things I can really relate.
It is very difficult, man. You think it's not, but it is. In my case, well, I was brought up Catholic as well. To be honest with you, not very religious. I believe my parents did it more for the same reason that perhaps the way you're seeing it, it was more for an education purpose. Yeah. Mind you, both of my parents were raised Catholic.
Okay.
And oddly enough, that's sort of, I think it's things that just get passed on from generation to generation. And I'm thinking the same thing for my daughter. I'm thinking, well, I've been looking around the schools, and it just so happens to be that most of the graded wise, the better ones, supposedly, are Catholic. Yeah. They tend to have a bit more money invested into them, whatever. Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I want the best opportunity for my daughter too. So baby's mom is Christian.
Okay.
So she's not into the whole baptizing, this, that. And we had a big issue when she was first born. I said, you know, what's going to happen? I did mention it. and she didn't make a big thing of it. But then now that she's getting closer,
Yeah.
I said, right, what's happening? You know, nice for because you know, if I want to take my daughter to a Catholic, then you know I haven't baptized her, and I need to start going to church. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to start doing the
Well,
whole thing all
you know
over.
what I mean? So she was a bit rude, to be honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong, she didn't say no, which I was very surprised. But she was a bit rude in the way she said it. She said, well, I'm not going to spend no money on the dress, this, that. So, and I'm like, you really think money is an issue to ensure that my daughter has a better education? Like buying a dress and having to go to church. I will do that if it's necessary.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever is necessary for my daughter. It's that simple. However, at the same time, I am a firm believer that you could be in the worst school and take out the best results.
Yeah.
And you can go to the best school
I
and be
agree.
the worst student.
Yeah.
So ultimately, from an educational stance, I've just gone for the better schools that I think were better or suitable. And it's more about what we teach our children, rather. You know, to be respectful to the teachers, to be able to listen, to focus, and be on top of the, you know, the learning to help them. I think that goes a lot further educationally.
But so in terms of obviously beliefs, so what does the man and his mom believe in, and how does that impact on, because obviously you say you're Catholic, but you're not very, you don't practice it a lot.
No.
So I don't know how religious she is.
It's funny that, man, because when we were going out, she was firmly religious, and literally we finished, and somehow it just it went. So I was like, oh wow. You know what the funny thing is like we would have probably got a lot on. We would have probably got on a lot better without your religion, without being you know, critical of her religion.
Yeah.
But we would have probably connected a lot better than without it, to be honest. And it's like, oh wow, okay. But yeah, that's just my views. But one of the things, for example, is that she doesn't tend to celebrate Christmas.
Okay. Yeah. So this is exactly what I'm asking. Yeah.
So this was like I was a bit of a shock, because where I'm from, like where my family, don't get me wrong, again, it's not very religious, but my family was just a big, huge family. You know, so I had 10 uncles and aunties. You know what I mean? So you can imagine how many cousins I've got.
Yeah.
So that Christmas time was literally like the biggest holiday, man. It was food, presents, the adults were drinking, and all the cousins were playing.
Yeah.
And I got brought up in that sense, and that made our family very, very close. And I wanted the same for my daughter.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, don't take the, we spoke about, I said, please don't take that opportunity for my daughter of seeing what Christmas is about. Perhaps not from a religious perspective, but at least traditional perspective.
Yeah.
Of, you know, being able to integrate with a family and have a meal and open your presents on the 24th as we do, midnight. I said, please don't take that, because that's something that I would like for my daughter to learn. I'm very much of a being that my daughter should be able to decide everything she wishes.
100%.
If my daughter turns tomorrow and says, I want to be a Muslim, I'm an atheist, I will support her.
Yeah,
as long as she's happy. So that's why, on the school perspective, on the spectrum, I'm not pushing for a Catholic one. I'm just pushing for the better school to give her a better chance. But regardless, I know that lies in our parenting. You know, so that's not a huge issue. And from a Christmas perspective, I just wanted to be able to see what most kids in Britain, or at least Latin American households, you know, for the great part of us are Catholics. And on the 24th, even if you're not really religious, you still tend to meet up with your family, eat food, and open a present here or there.
Well, I definitely agree with that, man, because like I said, look, I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in God. But when Christmas comes, I know it's a religious holiday, but for me, it's more like I get to spend this time with my family. There's, little presents, food, because I think all of us.
It sounds like a hypocrite as well.
Yeah, exactly. It does. It does sound like
my perspective too.
But the thing is because I was brought up a Catholic. I'm not gonna say that I was born atheist. I was born a Catholic. Mom, I was baptized. I had my first communion, my confirmation.
Same.
I had the whole lot, man. But I was 25, and I just it didn't make sense to me. The Catholic religion did not make sense to me. But then, you know, because all my life I've had, you know, the Christmas with parents and family and the food, the presents, everything. You know, now we go to my swagger's house, and from the 16th, I think it is, to the 24th, we're doing novenas, and I don't particularly, but my boys are there with the whole clapping thing.
That's it. It's the energy, man. It's the energy that it gives.
Exactly, man. And I could not, you know, I can't, it doesn't even cross my mind to say, stop singing that, that's not real. I can't, you know, it's almost like, you know, will you ever tell a kid that, you know, Santa Claus doesn't exist, or the Tooth Fairy doesn't exist, or, you know, the Easter Bunny doesn't exist? You know, stuff like that it's just good little innocent things that kids can believe in and have fun, you know. And I think in times where technology is kind of overpowering everything, those little things are quite key to have like a technology-free childhood, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's I think it still teaches the values. The more important values it teaches is being united with your family on a face-to-face level.
Exactly.
Because imagine on our perspective, I'll say ours, even though I was raised Catholic, but like you, I wouldn't say I'm an atheist. I don't know where my religious beliefs are right now, to be honest with you.
I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, no, I think that I do believe in energies, and there's a higher power for sure, man. I don't know what it is. Don't ask me what it is, but
yeah,
my life, that's a whole nother story. But anyway,
yeah, go on.
But anyway, importantly, going to what is important is we're teaching them, yeah, like you said, it's part of teaching them, you know, to be in a family and, you know, enjoy these moments, man. It's few and apart, unfortunately, like you rightly said with social media. It's very occasionally that throughout the year, what, a birthday, Christmas, you have to wait for big occasions to do something. You know what I mean? It's a shame. It shouldn't be that way. I think it's within us to change that. But unfortunately, that's the way it tends to be. Your family tends to meet up in Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big party, you know, a big birthday, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, bro. So moving on from different religious beliefs and bringing up your child and co-parenting, there is something that you also brought up in our behind the scenes talks. And it's quite, I think this is one of, if I was to, you know, break up Erica, this would be one of the hardest, if not the hardest thing to cope with. And that is your ex having a new partner and your child calling or being allowed to call that partner that when you're still around. It's not like you're dead, you know, or mom in a mom's perspective. What are your thoughts on you know, people that allow that to happen? You know, is that right? Is it not confusing the child a little bit?
I don't have the answers to
no, just
work, man. You know what I mean?
Your personal thoughts. It's all personal point of views. You know, it's not an answer.
I can only speak to what I see, and I'm a big minority in a big universe. You know what I mean? My views on it are, if your mom or your dad is around and they're doing the utmost best to be a mom and a dad, regardless of the situations they're in, because sometimes life plays roles that, you know, you can't, doesn't allow you to fulfill your full role as you would like to. That's it. That's the titles, man. Only them two people brought you to this world.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that as a mom or dad, you don't want to be there, in all honesty, they don't deserve that title.
Okay.
And that's very different.
Okay.
Where if a mom or dad is there and wants to be a major part of that child's life, in my eyes, it's only one mom and only one dad. And no other person. I don't see the need for somebody to call another person even a stepdad. And that's taking it far, because what I'm trying to say is I can understand from a female's perspective, from my baby's mom one in particular. Let me put that more specifically, because I'll be generalizing. My baby's mom would love to fill that void. I'm not saying I'm special, but she wants to fill the void that I've left as a father. So what that creates to a family.
Yeah.
You know, you have in your eyes a family being a mom, a dad, and a child. So it's very easy to allow their kids and another man being in the house to give them another name.
Yeah.
It might not be dad, but the fact that stepdad, this is their stepdad, this is this is that.
Well,
It's almost,
stepdad. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's almost like you're stepping in for me because I'm not around. Like,
right. And
sorry.
and that's my view. I can see why you would want to fill that void
Yeah.
towards the world. You want to show that you live a happy world, you're a perfect family, and you're doing the best for your daughter, and you've got another role model there for you. But there's no need for that role model
Yeah,
if I'm doing my bit. You
I
know,
agree.
like I said, and I've said it to her once. I said, and I'll say it to anybody. I said, take me away from the equation the day that I stop caring about my daughter, or that I'm locked up for some stupidness and I can't provide for my daughter. I could understand why you'd want to, maybe look for a stepdad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even then, it doesn't really give you the right, because in life sometimes we make mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I could understand that. But if I'm there for my daughter, taking the time, providing, trying to be the best that I can be to my daughter, there's no need for anybody to step in. There's no need for, listen, your mom's partner is simply your mom's partner. Why give it another name?
Yeah, exactly.
It's your mom's partner.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing.
Yeah.
So, and I do stand very firmly, man. Again, it just dehumanizes, man. It makes you feel low, like you're nothing, man. It's like you're taking away the only thing I got in my life, man.
Yeah, I think it's very important to clarify that is obviously if the dad or the mom is doing 100%, putting in the work, trying their best, there shouldn't be no other man or woman earning the label of mom or stepmom or dad or stepdad.
I don't need to tell my daughter that she has a stepmom. No, you have your mom. You don't need more. You know what I mean? You got the best thing that could happen in your life. You got your mom.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it's important to say it works both ways. Not just because I'm talking to Andor, we're just saying. But I think in this case, even if you were to get a partner, or you do have a partner, I'm sure that you're not gonna let Melanie call her mom when her mom. Exactly.
There's no need. And to be honest with you, it's weird. It's so odd, but I'm very conscious about who I bring in from a female perspective to my daughters. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird, man. Because literally, it took me 2 to 3 years for my female friends to, like, me to link up with my female friends whilst I was with my daughter. Because the weekend I got with me is just for my daughter. That's the way I see it. You know what I mean? I don't see her enough, so I just spend it with her. And I try to go to places where maybe there's other kids, and obviously she can lead as much of a normal life when she's with me. See other kids, and that's quite normal. But for me to go and see friends is like, it's pointless. It's my time with my daughter.
Yeah.
So it's only an odd occasion where one of my friends said, "Listen, we don't even know, we haven't met your daughter." Bro, it was nearly 2.5 years, 3 years, man.
Wow.
I met up with 3 girls, and none of them had seen my daughter. And that's just the way it is, man. I've always been like that when it comes around my daughter, man. Odd as it is, I don't know, but and even she'll even get jealous at times, man. My daughter, it's so weird, and I haven't given her reasons to. I've never had a females. I never will, man. There's no need for me to tell her, this is your new mom, or you know what I mean.
Yeah. So would you say that if you keep your relationship with another woman quite separate to your daughter for a very long time until this is serious? You just keep it separate.
Yeah, no, it's all a question of perspective. I think that would be quite selfish. It'll be very difficult for another person to have to accept that. That wouldn't be fair on them entirely, if you know what I mean. And it's almost like, well, this is my life here, and you can form a little bit of it. No, it's not like that, but there has to be a certain space, at least, so in the beginning. At the end of the day, I've been a step dad. I've been around for somebody that didn't have a father, and this girl got attached to me, and things of life and whatever. And I saw the consequences at first hand. A
Okay.
girl got attached to me. I got attached to a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Things didn't work with mum. And I would still go, because this was out in Spain, I would still go out in Spain to visit her in December. You know what I mean? That's how bad it was.
Wow.
There was that connection. What harm are you creating to your children if you're constantly switching partners?
Yeah.
If they
I
get
agree.
attached to somebody, if you get, so that's why I'm very cautious about who I let into my daughter's life from
Right.
my partner's perspective. You know, if it's somebody I'm going to move into my house with,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a partner I've been with a long time and got a certain way of seeing things and they can comprehend or understand and see the things the way I see them,
Mm-hmm.
then of course it's going to be different. But I know the full effects of getting attached to somebody very easy and then it's just gone.
Yeah. No, I that makes
My
sense, man.
daughter's already gone through it.
With
Baby mum is,
with
I
her
believe,
mum.
well, yeah, her partner, they're not together.
Okay.
And my daughter was very attached to that guy.
Right.
And that's what, and oddly enough, I think most parents would see it as perhaps like, oh, you're being jealous, you're trying to get involved in my life. I never got involved in the life. But what I
Mm-hmm.
did want to say to her, or I guess I tried to say to her, maybe I didn't say it clear enough, was that you can go past 1,000 relationships, man, and 1,000 of them won't work, but I'm still there.
Yeah.
Like it or not, it's just, unfortunately, that's what's up. I'm still going to be there. You can
Yeah.
go past another 10 relationships, get married, not have married, you can have another kid, but I'm still going to be there for my daughter.
Yeah.
So why would you want to replace my role as a father? Because
Yeah.
ultimately, I'm not going to fail you if you don't allow me to. If you always give me my position as a dad, I'm not going to fail you.
Yeah, that I think is very important for when you're co-parenting. I think it's very important to understand that what you just said, that that person is going to be in your life for the rest of your life. It's not got it's, you could go through 1,000 men or women, and that person is still going to be the father or mother of the child. So there's no point of trying to fight the universe, because that's never going to change. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you're going to start building a better relationship for your kid, because at the end of the day, everything you two do is for your child.
I think out of the two, I was a bit more. It was almost a mutual thing, to be honest, when we finished. But out
Mm-hmm.
of the two, I think I had deeper feelings, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
And it took me some time to comprehend that. I thought like, shit, man, I couldn't even see her, man. I had
Right.
to go with a friend of mine. I
Okay.
had to go with a friend of mine to pick on my daughter because I could not see her.
Wow.
That's how difficult it was for me. You know what I mean? And it got to the point, and that's why I got a lot of love for baby's mum, because there was a time where I didn't want to even go and pick her up just because of the thought I had to see her. And it was
Right.
her that said, listen, you're not spending enough time with your daughter. I'm not closing the doors on you. You can be here as many and as often as you want. And it was because of her, man. I needed that kick. And it wasn't
Right.
because I didn't love my daughter any less or any more. It was
Yeah.
just I couldn't bear the fact of having to go and pick up my daughter from what used to be my home, what used to be
But
my wife.
that's the yeah, exactly. That takes
You know,
a lot of courage right
you
there, man.
know what
It's
I
not
mean?
an
It's
easy
not
thing to
easy,
do.
like to finish with your wife, lose your home in one day, and then the next weekend have to go and pick up your daughter. Like it's
And just pretend
it's a
everything's
lot, man.
fine.
It's a
Yeah.
lot, man. So I had to go with my friend for various months, man, where he would go with me. Sometimes he would receive my kid and
Yeah.
pass it to me, and then as things got better, and he would sort of go with me while I went to pick her up, and it was like just. And then, but ultimately, what I came to compare is what you exactly said. Universe, why fight it? She's
Yeah.
gonna be there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And she can hate me. You can decide to hate that person, but
That's
you're
it's
gonna
not going to
hate
change
me your
anything.
whole bloody life.
Yeah.
Or you can decide to try and get along,
Yeah.
have
And
a
I think
decent upbringing.
long term, getting along is so much more better than trying to fight it and make life difficult. Because the thing is, if the two of you manage to work something out that benefits everyone, including the child, you guys are winning already.
I
Because
would consider that, man. I genuinely do consider that, man. I think I'm winning, man. And it's
mm,
as odd as it is, man. I'm trying to actually see the positives from it, which is really odd. But I'm only there because she's allowed it to.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes both parts.
Yeah. No, and we have to give her, like, we have to rate her for pushing you to, Because if it was someone else and you never showed up, like, well, it's your fault. You're not here, so you know you're being a bad dad.
And then I would be, then somebody else could definitely step into me.
Exactly. But she was like, no, and look, you need to come and see your daughter more. Exactly. And not a lot of women do that, you know.
Not
like,
a lot, man. I give a lot of props to her, man. A lot of props to her, because I get to see the advantage that I have. When, you know, from a kid's perspective, people are like, oh, you're from a broken home, and don't get me wrong, I would love to be from a full functional family. I really would. But at the same time, there's also positives to be in two households, man.
Yeah, bro. Listen, I'm from a broken home. Like, my parents, you know, they split up when I was 13, and from when I got to this country to, you know, 13, I have to be honest with you, and life at home sucked. It sucked so bad because there was always arguments, there was tension in the air. My mom and my dad would just swine at each other, so we didn't kind of like see, but you can tell that they were like ready to kill each other. And it was just hell, man. It was really bad. You know, I'll say it here on the first episode, it was hell, you know. But then when at 13, they you know, they said, you know what, this is enough. Like, we're gonna split up, we're gonna go separate ways. Bro, I actually managed to get 100% of both of them, and life was so much better, to the point where, you know, my dad will come over and we'll have dinner together, where there was actually real laughter, bro. You know what I mean? People actually enjoying the dinner, and they were enjoying each other's company, and they were not trying to kill each other. So I definitely agree that, you know, sometimes coming from a broken home is not so bad, because if it means that you get better versions of your parents, then why not?
The only thing I agree, man. Like you as well, I come from a broken home, and I can trust me, I can relate to you 100%. That's exactly how it was, man. That's exactly you spot on, man. Literally.
Trust me.
The only thing that at times I feel like, snap, man, maybe I messed up, was when you know when you're from a broken home, you try to amend it. You try to say it's not going to happen to my kid. And oddly enough, we had this conversation because baby mom comes from a broken home too.
Okay.
We said our daughter is not going to be our kid, because we didn't even know it was going to be a daughter. This was before.
Yeah.
Said, you know, if we ever have a family, it's not going to be a broken home, and it's only going to happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. So at times I feel like, perhaps I failed, man. You know what I mean? Like, but nowadays, I see the positives, man.
But let me ask you a question. How would you know that by staying in a family together, she'll be getting the same or she gets every time you see her?
I think she would get the same though, right?
Yeah.
Because the treatment that you treat your kid is
because the thing is something I'm going to bring back something that you said
because
earlier on.
You get to see her during the weekend, so
exactly. So if you see her every day, you kind of like not take it for granted, because we don't take our kids for granted, but you kind of get tired of, like, you know, that laughter's not funny anymore. You're just being flipping annoying.
I know you mean, but again, and I don't mean to be you know, I don't want to generalize too much.
Yeah, no,
but again, for the most part, you know, dads tend to be that figure, if you know what I mean. Like, we just, for whatever reason, we don't get the full brunt of it, if you see what I mean. It's always the mums that have to deal with more hands-on for the most part. For the most part, mums tend to be more hands-on. So we still got that extra little bit of
I get what you mean.
But yeah, I would agree with you in that aspect. But the love towards my daughter wouldn't be any different.
No, 100%.
I mean, now the home life could be affected, which obviously would have a consequence on our daughter. So yeah, man, with time, I've definitely been able to see that there is positives, man. And there's days where it hurts, man. Like, my daughter lately's been saying, Dad, when you're gonna come and sleep? And it's almost like she understands. She's like, when you're gonna come sleep in my bed, in my room, like, as if to say, like, not with mom, but you can come to my room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's difficult, man. It gets hard. But the fact that she allows me to be a dad makes it so simple.
If you wanted to come and stay over with your daughter, would you be able to?
It wouldn't go that far, I don't think.
Oh no, but she said like, no, you can't. That's taking it
She
too
hasn't said.
far.
I haven't asked. You see, it's
Oh,
one of
okay,
the,
okay.
I think she's got a partner now.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes it a bit difficult.
It'd be a lot different, a very weird if that to happen. But oddly enough, her being the way she is, she would probably say go for it, to be, as long as I'm not gonna have any type of fight with this other guy.
Yeah.
Knowing her, in all honesty, man.
No, I mean it takes a lot of
I wouldn't be able to
wisdom.
do it. I think I wouldn't be able to do it, but she would be able to do it. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it takes a lot of wisdom for you to do it, for you to actually walk into your ex's house where you know her partner's there with her, to go and spend time with your daughter, and for her to allow that. It takes a lot of wisdom from both of you.
It's different, man. I mean, there was a time when my daughter wasn't doing too well, and I did go to her house. This was like years back.
Yeah.
And I did go, and it was really odd. An odd sensation going into your old partner's, ex-partner's household. It's a new house, and you're seeing it because you can't help but look and be like, are they doing better or not? You know what I mean? Am I being missed or not? Like,
are they struggling without me?
Yeah, unfortunately, it was the opposite, man. It looked like they were blooming, bro. Yeah, I had an extra room now. Everything. But yeah, man, like, respect to her for allowing me to do that. And that's what makes the difference, man. Because you can go full out to be the best dad in the world.
Yeah.
But like I said, the law's there, and it will impede you at some point of doing your job.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that will allow you to be a dad there is the mum. Exactly. It's as simple as that, man.
That's deep. That's deep, man.
Because a lot of people say, oh, blood is thicker than water. The blood is, and in Spanish, la sangre jala.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, but when?
Yeah.
When a kid doesn't know, like, oh, I don't know who my dad is. I want to find out who my dad is when I'm 20.
Yeah.
My fatherhood is pretty much, I'm not saying I can't still be a father,
yeah,
but I've missed a big chunk of my daughter's life. You know what I mean?
Massive chunk, yeah.
So ultimately, it lies down to the mom, man. Ultimately, so my biggest advice would be, know who the hell you're having a baby with.
Yeah, I think that's something that the first research should do.
Like, it's a question you should definitely have. Listen, I love you. We love each other today. Things are amazing.
Yeah.
But if things shouldn't work, and we had a family, are you gonna
what kind of co-parenting are we gonna be doing?
Are you gonna be cool with me?
Yeah.
And it's a valid conversation, bro, because nowadays these relationships are hard to come by, man. And because of because of social pressures and what's happening around us. And it's very difficult, man. And it's something that we have to be very open to. Only because you're asking the question doesn't mean you're planning to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's always nice to know, all right, you're gonna be a good mom. I can just by what you tell me, but what I feel, you're gonna allow me access to my kid. Cool.
Yeah.
And vice versa. You're gonna be a responsible dad. You're gonna be there when I need you to be as a father. Then cool. You know what I mean? From there onwards, and it's just hope for the best. But if it doesn't, at least you're still gonna be able to fulfill and look after that life you brought in, man.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to co-parent.
I think that's tip number one, man. Know who you're getting with, man. Know who you're having a baby with.
Bro, so just to kind of start wrapping it up now.
To get started, man.
Huh? You're just getting started. No, we can like finish the episode now. Me and you can carry on behind scenes. Bro, well, we've been talking for a while now. I'm not gonna cut you off, but I think I'm gonna finish the episode there because looking at the clock, we've been for 1 hour and 22 minutes.
It's only right, man. It's the first one, man.
I just hope that it gets heard, because the girls have done an amazing job at bringing the whole Mama's Code
the whole
brand, platform, exactly. So I felt like a place, a little spot, at least once a month for the dads to come on and kind of share their experiences like you have today, and shed light on things that some dads don't go through, some do, some don't know about, some do. I think it's very important to have all points of view, and also moms. I feel like the reason why I spoke to the girls and I said, listen, I wanna do this once a month is because I want all the moms that listen to this podcast to actually get a male point of view.
I'm glad that, and I think that's one of the reasons why I was very excited to be able to come on and speak. And it was the same for when I went onto Mama's Code as well, was that I do believe we need more positive role models, male role models.
100%.
And it could be that somebody, you know, a dad might be listening. I'm not saying they're not doing their job, but by seeing people generally, if this is deemed to be cool, you know, to be with your kids rather than your friends or rather than doing this and that, and somebody catches on, man, you're gonna create a bond that is irreplaceable, man.
Yeah, I agree, man. 100%.
That's the main. That's one of the main goals, I would say, and that's why I was excited to come on, is because of that. Even if it's somebody that might not have the mind set and, you know, how to be a parent. None of us know how to be a parent realistically.
Yeah,
every day is a new day, man.
100%.
But just get closer with your kids, man, and to voice up, and you're not alone. And
Exactly.
I wanted to voice that, man. There's a lot of things that I think are a bit unjust towards the male in society, but you're not alone, man, and you got to keep pushing. And there is people and platforms like yourselves that are willing to give us a voice.
Definitely, man. Well, Ando, it was a pleasure having you on for my first. Well, this is my second episode, actually. I think I lied to you. But you are my first guest, though. But you are my first guest, so it was amazing having you as my first guest. I've literally, like you said, I've learned so much and you know, got a different point of view and different kind of respect for, you know, people co-parenting, fathers that are trying their best and, you know, have to go through all these obstacles to see their kids. But thank you for coming on and sharing with us. Hopefully in the future we'll see you again, or we'll hear you again, because I'm seeing you.
You never know. Maybe the next one is a video, man. Who knows?
Maybe we'll take over the studio.
Yeah, man. You never know, man. I'll take my daughter as well. She'll be like, no, that's not true, Papa.
What did I tell you about lying?
I'll be like, shh, what did I tell you? But thanks a lot for having me, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much for being on.
And all the best and success for your followers, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Peace out, man.
Peace out, man.